Hi folks, Hugh here again for another video in the Pugilist series. A lot of people have been asking me how to set up the proxies on this and why would you use proxies or why not. So far I haven't actually used them myself and I haven't really had a problem, but I guess if you're going to be using something like this really intensively, you might come up against some kind of restriction from Google or something. So I guess then you might think about using some proxies. Proxies are basically just other computers on the internet that will relay whatever it is that you're doing so that whatever's on the other end thinks it's coming through that machine instead of your machine. So in order to have proxies set up, you actually have to have a list of IP addresses of some computers out on the internet somewhere. And there are different ways to get those. I guess a lot of people use these public proxies, or where they scrape the proxies using Scrapebox, or they hang out on forums and get lists of servers that can be used out there. I actually never do that. I actually pay something like $10 a month or something to have 24 proxy servers out there that are called private proxies, and that means that not everyone in the world can use it, only me, maybe one or two other people, and they do have a password. So they're provided in a file with this kind of format. And so what you've got here is the IP address, the port, the username, and the password separated by colons. Okay, and you've got one per line, so you have to have a file like this. And if there's some kind of public proxy and they don't need a username and password, then you would just leave this part blank. You might leave the colon in there. So what you want to do to load up that file, here's click proxy settings and then browse to that file, and then see they all get loaded up in here. Then you want to click check proxy. You can check the proxy, and I'm pretty sure mine are all going to be green because they're they're all my good private proxies, so it could take a while, but so I do have my proxies plugged in now, and I have the same keywords that I had last night or yesterday from the science fiction. So let's go and give that a run. And I guess it's using the proxies now. I don't know how that's gonna. I guess that might be used in the post process. I'm not sure. I know it's still doing some calculations, so we had some green ones in there yesterday, and if you see, this thing is still running back and forth. So I did allow the singular and plural modifier this time. This is going to be stupid. Science fictions, that's really not enough. It does seem to be searched, but not very much, so that's, we'll filter that out over here. We'll say if the phrase, we must have a maximum value of, let's say 50,000, because we want to be able to get 5,000 people a month, right? Because it's 1/10 of that. Okay. And we got some greens. So we'll go ahead and apply that filter. and we don't have any of them, any BT 2% that's less than 50, which is that's good. So I mean, we don't even have to apply that. If we wanted to, we could apply that filter here. BT 2%, 50, and apply. But I'll just show you that's not going to make any difference because they're all above 50. Actually, this indicator here is the criteria that makes it turn green. So I could change this stuff. If you turn it off, then there's no green at all. If you turn it on, then whatever falls in this set of parameters is indicated by green. So that's why they say BT 2% higher than 50 and volume, BT2 volume better than 30,000. And you can change that. Like I might change that to phrase being above 100,000 and BT 2% being above 80 or something like that. But just so you know, that's what that's for. Let's say BT1 scary monsters. I don't know why that would be 0, but I guess that's because the broad and the phrase are pretty much exactly the same on this. So that minus that equals 0. Okay, but of course that's still a good term. So what we can do now is we can go over to the niche insider and start checking out what's going on with that. So let's say if I just take this one. Is this good? Scary monsters. These are good too. Look, fantasy movies, fantasy books, best fantasy, best horror movies, scary monsters. The best BT2 we have is best fantasy, which is very interesting. Fairly high phrase, 135,000 would mean if we could get 10% of that, it would be 13,500 visitors per month. And then if we use the keyword best fantasy, that wouldn't even necessarily have anything to do with science fiction. It might be the or best romantic fantasy or whatever you could come up with for your niche website or whatever you want to do. But it does seem to be a pretty good one. I think there's other one. Let's see what else we got. Well, the highest of the Bermuda Triangle is going to be that best fantasy. Then we've got monsters. Just for fun, let's just take monsters and run it over here and see what we got. Okay, that's really fast. And it's pulled them down, and it's calculating the CPC and the exact global monthly searches. Lots of keywords. Wow, that's huge. Lots of keyword long tail keywords coming in. Now back here, what we've got is we found that there are some terms which have a lot of global monthly searches, and the CPC is the cost per click and how much you're going to pay for an ad on AdWords. So I'm not really sure that this is correct, because when I checked with AdWords yesterday, it was actually less than this, but I asked Oz about it, so I have a question then about that, and we'll find out. In the meanwhile, it sure did come back with a lot of really good keyword ideas that See, if you double click on the line, then it puts that keyword in there, and then you can retrieve everything based on that. So it's a great way to just drill down. So I think I started with monsters, right? And that brought up all this stuff. Now, what if I just go back here and let's say if I go just for the heck of it, best fantasy, and that looked like a good one according to the indicators. Seems like a very humanistic sort of an idea, you know, humanities. There's, let's see, it takes a minute, of course, to get the data. We'll wait for that. Okay, so we got a lot of great keywords in with best fantasy, but let's sort that by the global. Really not too much. It's kind of disappointing, in fact, the amount. Let's see, that's only 12,000. So where is it? Seeing, you know, the best fantasy itself had pretty good. Let's try best fantasy movies. We double click on it and then click retrieve. Could be a lot of good keywords in there. We have to see what the global monthly searches are going to be. Okay, so we got the data coming back from here, and again, it's not that impressive. Okay, let's try something else. Let's just try fantasy all by itself. Let's see what comes up. Okay, it's done, and I think we definitely have some more higher traffic, and it looks like a lot of it has to do with sports here. Fantasy football. You could also sort by the source. Going on to Google, but still going to get a lot of traffic even on Bing and Yahoo. Fantasy football looks like it's pretty good. It's something that we'd want to explore more. And there's a lot, you know, Fantasy Premier League, ESPN Fantasy Football, Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. These are all good amounts of traffic. I mean, excuse me, the monthly search is like anything from here on up is going to give, if you use the 10% formula, you're going to get any, you know, you could get anywhere from 4,000 to, you know, on up if you can capitalize on these type of things. But this kind of suggests that this whole fantasy football area could be a very good lucrative niche to get into if that's your thing. Of course, Final Fantasy is a game that was made into a movie. So that's kind of shows you how you can discover some good areas of keywords that have, you know, a lot of searches, and we still have to do some research and check the competition, look at competing websites and all that kind of thing. We'll get into that in the recursive prospecting on the next video, and I'll see you then.